What's up, everyone? The day of the 7th eviction of Big Brother 27 has arrived, and every single house guest wants something different. We've got so much to talk about, so welcome to your live feed update. Right before we get started, if you are new around here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm here every single day breaking down all the craziness from the Big Brother house, and if you want to stay on top of it all, then hit the subscribe button. I'll have your back and tell you every single day all the crazy plans, strategies, showmancers, drama, everything. I got your back if you hit the subscribe button. I also cover the challenge and Bachelor in Paradise with amazing race coverage coming this fall. So if you don't want to miss that, hit the subscribe button. I'm also going to ask you all to hit the like button. It takes all of 0.2 seconds just to click that little thumbs up down there, and it really helps me out more than you even know with the YouTube algorithm as a smaller content creator. I also put a lot of time and effort into these videos, so if you feel like supporting me in any way, shape or form, please consider leaving a super thanks or hitting up my PayPal link in the description below. But without further ado, let's get to the update. Question of the day now, folks, and I want you to take a look at the graphic. See all those house guests that are in grey? Who, out of all of those, if you had the shot of sending one of them back into the house, this is crazy, but imagine plucking one of them out and throwing them back in, who would it be? You've got your options right there, grayed out. Who would you let back into the house if you had your choice? Let me know in the comment section below. Alright gang, hi, come on in, take a seat, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself some snacks. It's time to talk Big Brother. I'm going to recap you all of everything that's happened over the past 24 hours in the Big Brother house leading up to tonight, where somebody will be evicted. Tonight, either Kelly, Ava or Kat will leave the Big Brother house and presumably become the last member of the pre-jury, which means that I am kind of assuming that tonight Julie might tell the rest of them that they've officially made the jury, which is very impressive. It's no easy feat. Usually, 5 people get evicted and then it's the jury, but sometimes they do these seasons where, the 6th person goes and the 7th person goes and then it's the jury. So even more this year, if you've made it to this stage, it's more impressive. So well done to the people who've made it this far. One of them will fall short tonight, but who is it going to be? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today, because wow, there is a whirlwind in that house right now. Every single house guest wants a different thing. And I'm not joking. I'm not even saying as if, one person wants one and one person wants the other. I'm not kidding. All 3 names have been thrown out over the past 24 hours. We've got Keanu, who's switched gears now because he can't get Rachel out anymore. He now wants Ava out. And we talked yesterday about how Ava kind of is going nowhere. We had Sam on the pod yesterday talking about how no matter what happens, Ava is safe. And, I expect the unexpected, but I do think Ava has the best social game of the 3 that are sat on the block right now. And I also want to take into account at the fact that Keanu is now the one pushing Ava. People don't really listen to Keanu in that house because he kind of bulldozes his way through in wanting what he wants, right? And then people are just like, I'm so sick of this, I'm going to go in a different direction. But Keanu is gung-ho about that, and I'm sure he's going to spend the majority of today leading up to the eviction as well, trying to get those numbers against Ava. I don't necessarily think that can happen. Again, I just want to remember those immortal words, expect the unexpected, but yes, I don't know. Keanu wants Ava out. Then we move to Rachel. Rachel wants Kelly out. They have had a very tumultuous relationship this week, and that would also be the biggest understatement of the century. They're not friends. Kelly talks crap about Rachel. Rachel's not a fan of Kelly because of all of that stuff, and we've talked about Kelly being the cat with 9 lives. Could this be the 9th life tonight? Could be the 7th because it's the 7th eviction, but I again wouldn't be surprised if she comes out of this night unscathed, because the general public perception I've seen from polls and votes is that people want Kelly to go tonight if the majority of the public got their way. Again, not everybody wants that, but I'm just going by the polls I've seen. Kelly, I think, could win the blockbuster tonight. Bollocks to it. I'm gonna throw out a prediction. I think Kelly will win the blockbuster. Wow, yeah, that's my prediction. I think she's more gung-ho than the other 2. Not that the others don't have their heads in the game. In terms of the heads in the game, I would say Ava's up there at the top. Then Kelly has her head in something, but it's not in the game. If that makes sense. I feel like she is so laser focused on one thing, but it doesn't seem like it's long term. Whereas Ava feels like she has more longevity. Whereas Kat, I feel like is kind of, when you're in science class when you're younger and they go, this is a gas particle, and you see it just bounce from wall to wall, really slowly, bounce. Oh, there's another wall. Oh, there's another wall. Oh, yeah. Never thought this sentence would come out, but Kat reminds me of a gas particle from science class. I just feel like her head isn't in the game. She's been with Riley the entire time while he was in, and that was kind of as far as her game went, because she couldn't really... Every single time she went to try and talk to other people or whatever, Riley would kind of have an issue with it, from the way I think a lot of people perceived it. And I was hoping that with Riley gone, she'd be able to spread her wings and fly. But she kind of just turned into a mean girl, She was put up on the block by Vince, and then all of a sudden she started attacking Rachel. And it didn't really make sense. She was going on about how I'm not going to be excluded and stay away from a 40-year-old premenopausal woman. And again, like I said yesterday, what the hell does that have to do with the price of fish? It doesn't make sense whatsoever. At least talk crap about Vince, the guy who put you on the block. But no, everything's Rachel's fault. That's a running theme with, I think, a few of these house guests, a few of the women in this house, at least. It's weird to see. I would rather see Kat put that energy into trying to get herself off the block and focus on the game. But no, she's just tearing down Rachel. And that's been incredibly disappointing. So for me, on a personal level, I do remain unbiased when I do these updates, because I applaud somebody when they've made a good move, and I come down on them when they've made a bad move. You've seen me do that with Rachel. You've seen me do that with Kelly. Everyone in there. But if we're just detaching for a second and we're friends chatting, I hope Ava stays tonight more than anybody. Kat or Kelly can be shown the door, and it's honestly, I think Kat. I think I'd rather see Kat go than anyone, because I think Kat's the biggest dead weight of the three. And for me as a game, when I'm watching this as a super fan, I like to see people who want to be there. And while Kelly is absolutely bonkers off her rocker, she wants to be there, and that goes for something, right? And then we come to Morgan, because we talked about how Rachel wants Kelly out, Keanu wants Ava out, Morgan wants Kat out. So the people are, all over the gaff. They are all over the gaff, trying to go in different directions. Morgan, of course, is kind of... She's been very proactive these past couple of weeks. I feel like she's locked in more since Zachary was evicted, even though she is fixating on the toothbrush. God, that was awful. I'll never get over the toothbrush. We're going to be referencing the toothbrush when I'm like, in 2 years' time, welcome everybody to your BB29 update. I'll make a reference to the toothbrush. I am absolutely sure that's going to be stained in our minds forever. But yeah, she's obviously... leaning on Vince right now. I don't know if leaning is the word. See me wince when I say leaning. My neck goes in. I am just like, oh, there's a bit more than leaning. I am... we're going to talk a bit more about Vince and Morgan. I saw somebody reference it as Vorgan the other day. Or Mince. Mince or Vorgan. What sounds better? Both of them sound like... Mince and Vorgan both sound like surnames of serial killers. So I don't really want to... That's the way I measure a ship in Big Brother. When people put two names together and you go, and if it sounds good, you go, oh yeah, And then if it like Jailer, remember when Joseph and Taylor? Jailer sounds great, But then if you say Tosif, it doesn't sound so great, Let me think of another. Brenchel. Brenchel sounds great. That works. That's Brandon and Rachel. Let me think of another one. I'm thinking of Jessica and Cody was Jodie. Again, that sounds great, even though I can't stand the two. But then when you get something like Vince and Morgan, which is Vorgan, Vorgan sounds like the surname of a serial killer. That's when you know it's a bad ship. That's how I measure it. If it sounds like a serial killer, it's a bad ship. And even so, Vince's got a girlfriend back home. From what I've seen some people commenting saying, she's given him permission to flirt and all that kind of jazz, but it's still really awkward to see. I don't know. It's just... Morgan, I feel like, just goes from one guy to the next. Not in a strategic way either. I feel like that's just the way she functions in this game, and it's kind of sad to see. But she's definitely been more proactive in gaming since Zach has gone. So even though she's latched onto Vince, I'm still seeing more from her when she's with not with Vince, but when she's in this situation more than the last. So she's been more proactive there. And I just want to say, though, I'm never going to forget about the toothbrush. Oh! Now, of course, while all these house guests want different people out, we, of course, have to take a look at what the head of household wants. This is modern-day Big Brother, I remind you all, and usually what the head of household wants is what the head of household gets. If this was old-school Big Brother, we'd be looking, we'd be digging deeper into what the house guests want. But this isn't. This is modern-day Big Brother, and we do what the house wants, which means what the head of household wants, really. And Vince, of course, is swishy, flows with the wind. And he will go with wherever he wants. There was a pathetic conversation that was had with Lauren. If it's a tie, I'll do what you want, Lauren. And those two are like weirdly codependent, but I feel like Vince makes more decisions. Lauren is just like, yeah, I'll do this, whatever Vince wants. She doesn't say it, but that's what she's thinking. Oh, that's how she operates. But Vince wants Kelly out. That is what I think is going on here. He has betrayed her and turned on her way too many times to feel comfortable with her sitting on the jury. But the thing with Vince and Kelly is, they did make a final two very early in the game. And Kelly has remembered that. She's fixated on it. Vince completely forgot about the final two. There was one time where he was like, yeah, our final two. And he was like, did I even make a final two with her? I don't know. That was the first final two that was made of Big Brother 27. So it was so funny how he forgot about that. But this is Kelly. And this is Big Brother 27. Like, these people aren't thinking straight. I still think Kelly would vote Vince to win. He's overestimating it because Kelly is never. What I'm going to say is never underestimate the power of Vince being able to do whatever the hell he wants, and these house guests just to go, okay, thanks Vince, kiss the ring, mwah, and then they forget everything he's done. That's why I'm not necessarily thinking Vince needs to worry too much about Kelly being on the jury. As for Ava, Ava will be back with a fury and she'll put Vince on the block. I feel like Vince's target really should be Ava. And Kat, again, Vince put her on the block and then she was venting to Vince about Rachel. So, realistically, Kat and Kelly are probably best for Vince's game to stay, whereas Ava is actually more focused and will try and get him out should she win head of household again. And after being on the block, I have no doubt in my mind that Ava's going to be gunning for HOH tonight, and we might see a second Ava head of household. I'm sure Rachel's going for it. I think the majority of these people will be going for it. I just pray it's not a Lauren head of household, because she might go for it, but I just can't deal with a week of her crying and ask people to make the decisions for her. It just doesn't... I can't do that. I can't do that. Lauren has been quite possibly the biggest disappointment of the season, bar Riley, so I just can't deal with that. But it's always exciting. The Big Brother juices get flowing on a Thursday because someone's gone and then it's a fresh week. The whole thing starts again. It's a new head of household and it's very exciting. But because of how fluid this game is right now, and that's evidence of that, how all these different house guests want different things, it makes it even more important and pivotal on who's going to win head of household tonight. So very excited to tune in tonight and watch that. The game is anyone's. It really is. It's so fluid right now. These house guests, I feel like thinking... Some of them think with their brains, some of them think out their arseholes, and as a result, it creates a very fluid game. Fluid and arsehole, I didn't think that was going to go in the same sentence together. Let's end the segment. Looking forward to HOH tonight. In one of the craziest moments of the season, Lauren and Ashley were sat having conversation in the bedroom about the vote. They were talking about, what happens if it's going to be a tie and where they're going to go. And every situation, Lauren essentially said, I'm not saving Ava. I'm not going to bat for Ava. Ava's not the one I'm going to be doing. They then discover, after the conversation, that Ava was in the same room the entire time, under the bed sheets, asleep. Allegedly. She wasn't asleep. And then after the conversation, Lauren goes to tap Ava and goes, Ava, are you awake? And Ava goes, pretending she's been asleep. Oh, what's up? Oh, sorry, I was asleep. And then they leave the room. Ava looks at the camera and goes, that's awkward. Oh my God. Oh. One of my favourite moments of the season, without a doubt. It is those classic moments that we're going to talk about forever. You remember when Cliff used to do his Cliff Notes in the It was such a dumb move when he did that. He used to... Like, I was rooting for Cliff Hard on Big Brother when I was watching him on Big Brother 21, but he used to do these talks to the camera every single morning because he'd be awake before all the youngsters. And we used to get insight into his game, which I loved watching. But then there was this moment where you just thought, oh, Cliff, this was a rookie move. He was talking to the camera about his entire game, said, this person's got to go next, this person, this, I'm working with this person, and I'm not working with this person. And Christy walked past the door and listened into the whole thing and discovered everything about Cliff's game. It was one of those massive blunders that we'll never forget. This was another one. Lauren... Rookie mistake. This is Lauren and Ashley are just it's classic mistake. In Big Brother, when you go into a room, you've got to make sure that nobody is near, nobody's outside the door, and that the person you were talking about is nowhere in sight. So walking into the bedroom and not even checking all the beds and making sure that they're there. Oh my word. Oh, I mean Lauren, man, she's just the gift that keeps on not giving. Ashley, I mean, I'm not surprised that Ashley, I didn't think incriminated herself in that conversation more than Lauren did, but just unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable. And I was so looking forward to talking about this moment because it's one of those that I know we're going to be talking about forever. But wow, imagine doing that. Imagine talking crap about voting somebody out for, you know, a good long conversation and then realizing that they actually have been in the room the whole time listening in. Lauren doesn't think that, but Ava heard the whole thing. What a blunder. While Riley hasn't been in the house for almost a week now, his name is still on the house guests' mouths. Ashley approached Kat at one point and asked her this question. What if Riley came back and got down on one knee? Kat swiftly replies, I would say no. Now, if Riley was still in there, that would be probably a meltdown from him and asking for constant reassurance with Kat, and Kat would probably feel backed up against a wall and she would have to do that. But luckily, he's not there, so Kat has room to express herself. But yeah, I mean, does that say it all? I don't know, like if she's feeling different now that she's had some distance from him. I know Riley has finally done interviews and said, I think he said something along the lines of he feels... And I want to make sure I get this right, so let me just think for a second. He said he feels hurt that he is being painted as aggressive when he is always led with passion and care. Yeah. Next segment. Now, today's one-liner of the day comes from Ava. It usually does. She's got these great one-liners. She sits and sleeps so much, but then she wakes up and then just says the funniest things. She said in a conversation with Rachel, get this. And she's not serious about this before people start going, oh, that's a really bad way to play the game. No, just have a laugh, relax, take a chill pill. She said, if the reason I lose $750,000 is because I didn't talk to Keanu enough, then it's money well spent. That's too funny. I can't even with that one. That is so funny. She's not a fan of Keanu. You know, that spilled out when, you know, she had that really insecure moment where she was like, you think you can talk to me this way because I dress like this? And I'm like, girl, nobody brought up your clothes. That's just so insecure to go on like that. But yeah, I think a lot of people feel the same about Keanu because he bulldozes his opinions over other people and thinks he is masterminding the game when it's quite the opposite. But as a viewer, it's so amazing to watch. But all these personalities clashing and people having all these opinions against each other, this is what Big Brother should be. You know, it's without, you know, minus Riley, you know, because that situation was a little bit icky to watch for me, and I think for a lot of people, or a massive bit icky to watch for a lot of people. So then when you take that out of the equation and it's just people being petty with one another, this is what reality TV is, and I love it. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. I would love to hear from you. With the address on screen right now, you can reach out to me with a postcard. I'm hoping to get one from every single state. I'm so looking forward to showing you guys the ones I've gotten so far. We're going to do a big ass checklist, you know, and try and go through all the states. So I've seen a lot of people saying, Tom, have you got one from Missouri yet? Have you got one from South Carolina? Have you got one from Oregon? Assume no, right? Because even if I do have one, like, the more the merrier, you know. And it's great, you know. We're gonna do like we could do like a tally of how many we've got from each one. So if you've been thinking about sending one, or you've been contemplating, just send it. I would love to hear from you. It would mean the world to me. And you know, even though I might have one from a single state, it's nice to have one from each individual person. So please reach out. People have sent packages. People have sent postcards. Whatever you fancy sending, or you want to, just anything you want to send my way, please feel free with the address on screen right now. I would love to hear from you. I've got a few super thanks before we close things out. I'm going to remind everybody as well, though, that I am covering the challenge, and my latest challenge breakdown is up there now. Please go show it some love. Please go show it some support. Go drop a like there. That would mean the world to me. It's a great season of the challenge. So if you haven't been watching, I advise you to get on it, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, I'm going to be covering more stuff as the year goes on as well, you know, throughout the fall and then into the winter. So if you want to be on the same TV schedule as me, I advise you to get on the challenge and Bachelor in Paradise, so we can break it down together every single week. But the first super thanks today, we've got the wonderful Reagan Buchanan. Reagan Buchanan says, in capital letters, I absolutely love Sam and their segments. I personally would love to see Kat go. I also believe Morgan is a codependent, and that's why she latches onto Vince. Not the best in this game. Looking forward to any new songs coming. There will be songs, trust me. I've definitely noticed that with Morgan. She goes from one person to the next, and I feel like she needs somebody to function. I want to see her thrive. I want to see her play for Morgan, you know, and be Morgan rather than be Morgan with somebody, or be Morgan in a relationship, or be Morgan in an alliance. I just want to see Morgan, you know, because I loved her in the early season, and she kind of got a bit, but I want to see her thrive. But thank you so much, Reagan Buchanan. Isn't Sam amazing? I completely agree. Thanks, Reagan. I appreciate that so much. Have an amazing day, Reagan Buchanan. Next up, we've got Susan Nelson. You say thank you, Susan. I say thank you, Susan. Susan, have an amazing day, my love. Send you a big kiss, big hug. Have an amazing one, my love, and enjoy the eviction tonight. Next up, we got one a little bit close to home. It's my wonderful sister-in-law, Jade. Jade says, let's see if I can go 2 for 2. See, Jade did scenarios last week and is going to try and do scenarios again right now. And Jade says, okay, here's what I'm thinking for this week. Ava and Kelly, she says Kelly, obviously. Ava and Catherine, she says Catherine, duh. I heard that in Jade's voice there. Kelly and Catherine would be, she says it's harder, but I'm going to go with Kelly. So we'll see if Jade's right there. She's going for 2 for 2. And she also says, I got to say, they've all been talking about how everyone would go home against Ava. Yes, they have. This is something they should be worried about. Clock it. But because it's Big Brother 27, of course they're not. Jade is so right. They need to realise, if they are saying Ava's not going to go home against anyone, Ava's going to survive no matter what, that's a problem. You got to take her out, just like Jade said. And she says, enjoy the coffee. It better be dunks. Get one for my sister too. Love y'all. That's very sweet, Jade. We're sending love right back at you. Hopefully you can come back up soon and be on and do scenarios again. Thank you so much, Jade. Mwah, we're sending love right back at you. Next up, last but not least, actually, we've got the wonderful Super Christian Mewald, who leads with, what's up, brother-in-law? Did you get a chance to listen to Angela's song yet? What did you think? No, I'm planning on listening to it this weekend. Also, that Juju, not Juju, the Judges. Oh my God, you clocked me. Also, the Judges, it's spelled like Juju's Alliance, I feel may implode by next week if the people within the Alliance don't start comparing notes with what Vince is feeding them. It's so true. Oh, the Alliance name is Judges. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, ha. I thought it was Juju's with the accent and all, but hey, I'm French, you're British. The accent struggle is Rehal, in brackets, real. Ha, effing ha, Super Christian Mewald. I'm going to take that as a joke. Since apparently you're going to be my brother-in-law. So thank you so much, Super Christian Mewald. I appreciate you ever so much. Have an amazing day, my friend. And I'm going to check out the Angela thing at the weekend. Thank you ever so much. But folks, I hope that you're all staying safe, staying positive and staying healthy out there. And remember to be kind to one another. I am going live tonight before the show. We had some connection issues last week. Everything's fixed. I will be there tonight, 1 hour before the show. So come and hang, and we'll hang out before the show, chat all things Big Brother or whatever else comes up. I hope to see you there, folks. So be there for that. But I hope that you're all staying safe. I said all that stuff already. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all of that wonderful stuff. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.